Welcome to today's installment of the fall webinar series, What's New in Your Favorite Google Products? I'm Lori Roberts, a lead learning guide with Fried Tech, and I'm joined today by two of my colleagues.
Hi, I'm Chantel Lott. I'm also a lead learning guy with Fried Tech.
And I am Courtney Watson.
Here we go. We have been sharing with you over the last few weeks all things new and exciting with Google. How to personalize the learning with Google Chrome tools like Chrome Canvas and Screencast Moderator, as well as amplifying accessibility to ensure learning happens for all students. We let you know ways to capitalize and spice up your learning with Google Classroom using features like the new interactive questions and the coming soon detailed classroom analytics. Let's keep the learning going with a few more product updates for some of your favorite Google tools. If you want today's slides, this is a reminder that you can find them by going to fried.tech/10 24 23. That web address will remain in the top right corner of our slides throughout this webinar. So if anybody has any questions about it in the comments, please make sure and share that URL with them and remind them it is in that top corner. Today, we are going to share more about slide annotations and pointers in Google Slides, custom building blocks in Google Docs, and ways to engage with Google Meet. So let's jump off and have Chantel give us a go at what those annotations and pointers look like.
All right, so we're going to jump into Google Slide Pointers. So, new to Google Slides is slide pointers to boost collaboration in Google Slides. Google's introducing live pointers, a new feature that allows you and your collaborators to see each other's mouse pointers in real time. With this update, co creators can easily point out specific text or visual elements within a slide in order to highlight important information and content, right? So I know that you've probably already been seeing it. It's popped up there. If you haven't been playing with it yet, we're going to demo a little bit of it today and we're going to jump in, okay? So here we have a slide that we are sharing, we're collaborating on. Here you can see that we're going to kind of brainstorm some facts about birds, which is Lori's favorite thing to talk about, right?
Absolutely, always.
So as they move their cursors around the screen, you'll be able to see where each person is. You'll be able to see what they're adding to the slide. Here's where we can turn it on and off, right? There's a view option here at the top. If you go down to live pointers, you'll see that there's an option to show collaborators pointers. I can turn that on and off. Also to show my pointer. So I can turn that on and off as well. There's also a shortcut over here on the toolbar at the top. You'll see that there is an option just to click and turn yours on and off, as well as if you click the drop down arrow, I'll be able to turn it on or off as far as seeing other collaborators or allowing them to see me on this particular, right? Everybody disappeared and now they should be popping back up. There we go. I can see them actively on this particular deck. So I love that, right? We can go in here, we can work together. Maybe I want to change the font to this title. Let's go with this one, right? I can go in there and change and we can work collaboratively together and we can see where each other is and what changes that we're currently making. I love that, right? Flamingos are pink because they eat shrimp. I love it, right? The pigment of a blue jay feathers is melanin, which is brown, right? Lori always with the bird facts. I love it. Love it. All right. So
You're going to
that's
learn more than just Google in these Google webinars with us.
yes. Yes, you are. All right, so that's the Google Slide pointers, right? Awesome. I love it. You can click the link on the slide to get a little bit more information about it. Try it out. Love how you can collaborate with others. So the next thing that we have are the Google Slide annotations. So also new to Google Slides is, also new to Google Slides is annotations. So you can now highlight or emphasize key content you present in Google Slides. With a new pen tool, you can circle, underline, draw connections, and make quick notes directly on your presentation, whether during class time or brainstorming session, just like you saw us doing, right? Annotations can help make your presentations more engaging, interactive, and impactful. And so we're also going to try that out for you. Here you can see that I've already marked up a slide so you can kind of see how it's done. But let's jump into it ourselves and see how we can annotate as we are presenting. So here I am in a slide deck that I'm going to present, maybe teach in my class. I'm going to go ahead and go to slideshow. There we go. We're in presentation mode. And to turn on those annotations or to turn on that pen tool, I'm going to go down to the three dots. And there I'm going to go on to turn on pen. And instantly I have a pen to start marking with. Now, if I go back down here, I'll see that it's added that pen tool there to that bottom bar, right? That toolbar there. I have the option to change the color if I want, right? There's about 4 colors in there that I can annotate with. Let's try blue. And then I can start, of course, annotating, right? And we know that this is a plant cell, right? And if I was going through and I was annotating, I could annotate the different parts or make notes on this as I fill it out, right? You want to help me out, Lori? What else can I annotate on this?
Sure. Well, since it's a plant cell, those little green, I call them jelly beans, those little green jelly beans, those are your chloroplast.
Okay, so our little green, I think it's over here. Let's see. Let's see if I can get it right. Oh, goodness. I have to listen. Please forgive me. I'm a social
Science teachers in the
studies
chat, don't give
teacher.
us a hard time for
I
spelling
know.
it right.
Listen, there are green jelly beans. I like how she said that, right? And so I can mark up on this as I go along. Well, maybe, we're not talking just plant cells. Maybe we're talking a map, right? Here we have a map, right, of the Silk Road. Maybe I want to define how it kind of took its shape. It could be because of these mountains here, right? Or these mountains, the Himalayas here, right? And so I can go in and I can kind of mark this up however I need to, right? We've got a desert. I feel very Bob Ross right now, like, shh, shh, shh,
Happy
shh,
little
right?
trees
I
everywhere.
know, right? I can go in and kind of just mark this up. I love this, especially being a previous social studies teacher. I can talk about like what goods left China, right? What goods went into China, kind of draw my arrows, all kinds of things as we look at this particular example. So I love that I can mark on the screen in real time, right? Or maybe even an ELA example, right? Here we have a excerpt from Hamlet, and I could ask my students to circle or underline words that stand out to them. Of course, we've got our to be or not to be, right? Maybe things that got slings and arrows here. We could even, right, put a little cloud around Hamlet. That's who's speaking right now. Right, we totally just mark this up however we choose to, right? Definitely love this. I also love it that, right, you could snap a picture of your text and then easily go in here and mark it up, and kind of, work as whole group or have your students individually do it. So I love, love, love this.
I love this one too. As a recovering English teacher myself, annotations just speak to my happy place. And so I think it's super snazzy. I feel like it's like a digital version of transparencies, right? So what we used to do up on our little overhead projector, we can now do in Google Slides when we're in presentation mode, and we do not have to worry about. Everybody knows the marker hand. If you taught with overheads, by the end of the day that red, green, and blue was on the side of your hand, right?
No
I did
vis-a-vis smudges,
no,
what
Yeah.
you're
no
saying.
smudges. No smudges. Um, let's see. So we did have a question. Can you annotate when you send a Google Slides show as a published show? So the only way you can annotate is when it's in presentation mode, in slideshow mode, and then going and accessing that pen. So it does have to be in slideshow mode. But I did have a question too, though, because since you gave us an example, one from each little subject area here, I wondered when you move from slide to slide, do we keep those annotations or do
Well,
we lose those?
well, let's see. So here's my ELA annotations. There's my history or social studies, and there are my annotations for science. So yeah, it does stay.
Nice.
Those annotations do stay.
Cool beans.
Okay, I got another question for you. So
Okay.
on this plant cell, let's say you do this with your students and then you want to quiz them on it. Can you clear the screen or erase everything that's on there so that you can kind of reset it?
Yes, I absolutely can clear this screen. I'm going to go down here to the eraser and I'm going to click on it and then there's an erase all. So if I wanted to do it first and then I erased it and then I had them do it, right? I could do that like model for them or they could do it first and walk me through it. And, I'm going to prep for the next class or whatever. I can easily erase all that. And if I move through the slides, right, it just erased that one. It didn't erase everything.
Nice.
All right. And what happens if I really like how I marked a particular slide up, right? What if I want to save it? What if it's like the best annotations like I've ever done, right? My suggestion with to you would be to take a screenshot, right? If this is the best like Bob Ross map that I did, I did a little for my, for the desert and the mountains and the rivers and all that kind of stuff, then I could take a screenshot and I could actually, if it'll go, let's see. Oh, that's because it's hidden. Let's try it again. There we go. I could take a screenshot, add it to my slide deck, and there it is, right? Because I know that, if you're like me and you've made a masterpiece here, right, you're going to want to keep it just either to quickly pull it up or to show it, to maybe other classes or just for whatever reason. So take a screenshot and then you've got that saved, okay? So I absolutely love these annotations on Google Slides that we now can do.
And before we pop off of annotations, we did have a couple of questions. We've answered some of them. So yes, they do stay from slide to slide when you're in presentation mode. But if you exit the slideshow, they are gone. So like we had a question, would they be there from class to class? So no, not from class to class. You would redo it sort of each class period. Like I said, similar to transparencies, right? We had to wipe those transparencies clean, even though by the time you hit like fifth period and you're in your stride and they were perfect. So then again, that's where those screenshots come in. So you have at least that really, really good example to kind of go back to, throw it in Google Classroom after the fact for them to sort of study from and things like that.
Listen, if I'm doing this map, by the time it's seventh period, I'm a pro at making mountains. I'm a
Hmm.
pro at, putting those dots for the desert. So you're right on that part. I'm gonna have that practice, but also, like we said, that screenshot is really gonna kind of save it for you. So
And there was, sorry, there was another question about erasing. And so right now it is just the erase all button. That's correct, right? But that's
yes,
per slide. So if you erase on one slide, it won't necessarily erase from the other slides.
correct,
Okay.
correct.
But you can't erase just one element. I think that was the question. So
Yeah, no, if you kind of make a little mark what hey, just like in real life, you're just gonna, doodle around it or you're gonna,
There are
kind of
You said Bob Ross, there are no mistakes, right? So,
exactly. They're all
yeah.
happy trees, so, there are no mistakes.
And just to confirm, Chantel is using an advanced Chromebook to do all of this, and hers came with a stylus, but you could also use your finger as well if you wanted to do those annotations.
Absolutely. You could always you or your students could always use your finger on your Chromebook. Absolutely.
We love those. I love both of those, the pointers and those annotations in slides. Lots of great options for teachers. So, Courtney, I am excited to hear about these new custom building blocks in Google Docs.
cool beans. I'm excited to tell you about them. So, building blocks, of course, are a part of what's called that smart canvas when you're in Google Docs. The real point of smart canvas is saving time. You are already working maybe with your PLCs or your teams, or maybe it's even your students doing some collaborative work in Google Docs or something along those lines. But they're already in the document, so they don't have to go somewhere else to do certain things. Some of the things that you get with the smart canvas are what Google loves to call smart chips. They are my favorite. Some of our favorites, though, are that are available for all users at all different levels. There are date chips, people chips, location, and our probably number one favorite is drop downs. You can go in and create some of those yourself and then use those across your different Google Docs. Now, there are some custom smart chips that are available for those education plus tier users. And we have those examples here on the slide. So stopwatch, where you can of course start, stop, and reset a clock as needed. Timer chips, I can totally see that one across all different subject areas. You can add those to allow students or teachers to keep track of like time for different class activities or maybe during presentations and things like that. And then one of the newer ones that we have access to would be those emoji voting chips. So you can use those to quickly gather, document votes on ideas. The person creating them just goes in and types, I'm a keyboard shortcut girl. So the at symbol and start to type the word voting and it'll pop up for you. You get to choose the emojis that you want to use. And then when you share it out, people can just click to record their vote for the different emojis in that little smart chip. So those are the chips that are available on the smart canvas. And another chip that you can pull up would be the building blocks. So building blocks are, first of all, built-in templates that are only available in Google Docs, but you can use them to help you track your projects, document your meetings, create email drafts, all directly in Google Docs. So Chantel, let's make a new blank Google Doc. And
Oh,
so she's going
okay.
to go over just to a new tab. We still love the shortcut docs.new to get you a brand new blank Google Doc really quickly to work with. And so now a new feature we have is these new pre-populated smart chips that are available. So only if you want to use them, just FYI, Google's, always trying to help us out, save us a little time. If you want to, you can always just start typing and they'll just disappear. You can start typing in your doc. But if you needed a quick set of meeting notes or a quick little email draft, you could grab those. We'll use the little at more smart chip because that one is going to pop up the full list of all the smart chips that are available and you could pick from everything in there if you needed to. But let's take a look at some building blocks in a document where we already have some that you can kind of see what they look like. So in our demo one, we have this one. Again, these are the pre-made building blocks from Google inside of Docs. This one is actually called a project roadmap, but we thought about a product roadmap, but we thought about school assignments, right? This would be great for projects. Students can keep track of all their different assignments. They can easily go in and customize. We have some of those drop downs in there. They could go in and customize those if they needed to, but then utilize those to keep track of their assignments. We have smart chips where they can link to their different files, link to YouTube videos, things like that, all inside of that project roadmap. Chantel, if you'll pop on down to page 2, we have an example of meeting notes. Another one of our favorites. We love to use these to keep track of the agenda, the notes, the different tasks, who has to do what, who needs to be at which meeting, who's in charge of what, different activity and things like that. The other reason these are super useful is because you can attach the document directly to a calendar invitation if you're using Gmail. So over on that right-hand side, you can see the little envelope icon. So you can attach it. So then everybody, when they get the invitation, they'll have access to the Google Doc before the meeting to add whatever they need to add to it. And you can also search inside of your Drive files and attach files directly there as well. We have an example of the email draft. And I feel like this one seems kind of weird. Like, why would I want to draft my email in Google Docs, Courtney? But it can be beneficial for collaborating on an email prior to sending. For example, Lori and I have this shared project that we're on, and somebody asked us for some information. So we both need to send an email, but instead of having to send two separate emails, jumped in here, got an email draft going, and then we both put in our information, and then we were ready to send it out. Again, that little Gmail icon over to the left hand side there will take everything from your draft, drop it over in Gmail for you. And then just as a reminder, all of these were just created by going to insert. So we can just click and just get us a little, yep, find our cursor. If we go to insert and then scroll down towards building blocks, and then you'll see the list of ones that are already there. We could add in even the review tracker so you can see another one. So they're building that list of some of the ones that are already available. So those are building blocks. But wait, there's more, because we can always take it a step further. So Chantel, if you'll pop back over to the presentation.
I love your wait, but there's more.
There is, and this is the part that I think is super snazzy. Because if for our Education Plus customers, you can create your own templates in Google Docs and then save them as a custom building block. So this one I think is super, beneficial for teachers. Like I think of lesson planning because
Yeah.
lots of districts and even within the district schools and maybe even departments have like separate requirements for the lesson plans. So you can easily kind of make sort of a template and then just always lather, rinse, and repeat. Go ahead and bring in that building block again. So we will go ahead and just create one really quickly for you. We're going to do a simple one. So let's go and insert a table. We'll just make a quick little KWL chart. So she did a 3 by 2 table. We're going to go in and type in our titles. Of course, we know the K is what do I know? The W, what do I want to know? And the L is what did I learn? As you're building, just know that you can format this in any way. We're doing a quick example for time for us today, but this could be as detailed as you need it to be. You could have, 12 rows. You can go ahead and format it. We're going to, have to make it look a little bit pretty, right? Let's get it centered, add in a little color to separate our header row. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and put in some space so we have room to go ahead and type in the things once we're done. And once you have it looking how you want it to look, just select it all and then right click anywhere over what's selected. And in your menu, you should find, look at that beautiful little blue new button, save as custom building block.
I love it. You're like, look at that beautiful new button.
You get a little dialog box, of course, to go ahead and give it a name. We'll call it KWL. You can add a description. Keep in mind that's optional. You don't have to. And then just hit that create button.
It's like
It's going
doing
to
its
do its little
magic.
magic.
There we
Now,
go.
you get this great little pop-up that reminds you of how you can access your custom building blocks. We're going to hit got it, and then we'll show you how you can access that. So we'll just go ahead and delete what's on the screen there. And now, again, I'm a keyboard shortcut girl. You could definitely go up to insert, go down to building blocks. But if you type at and then start to type KWL or whatever
Like,
the name of your building block is, there it is. And just give it a click. Boom. Inside of your doc.
So
I
nice.
love it. I think it's so
I'm like,
snazzy.
all the magic just happened right now. I was like, you're like, hit the at sign
You need a
and then type
wand to
in.
do
I
all that.
know. It's like, what magic before our eyes? I love that. That's like so quick and easy, especially previous social studies teacher here. We're always using KWL charts or something like that for like a warm up or beginning an activity. I just love how easy that was. And like to customize it, like this is something that I'm personally going to need all the time. And then it's right there at my fingertips. I just love it.
Now I got a question for you, Courtney.
Okay, doke.
I have a tendency to make mistakes a lot and not realize that I make the mistakes until, it's too late. So what if I had made a mistake on this building block and I don't realize it until after I've already saved it?
That one is a good question. You can definitely edit. So we'll go ahead and go back up to insert and look down in our building blocks area. And what you're going to see now when she goes over to building blocks is we do have the list, but underneath we have our custom blocks. There we go. And so when you hover over KWL chart, you see that little pencil. Go ahead and hit
Nice.
that pencil and it'll pop you over into your KWL document because really what you're making is a Google Doc. And so now you can go in and make some changes. So we'll go ahead and let's change the color, Chantel. So we'll know that we went in and actually made a change instead of yellow there.
Okay. Let's see. Well, it's yellow. What color do we want it to be now? Let's see.
I'm a fan of that little orange to the left of it, but you can go where you want to.
Okay. Oh, I just see what you did. I just saw what you did there, right? We're going green. We're totally going green.
That's
Okay.
fine. Green's a good color too.
I know. I love the color green.
And then we'll pop back over to our little blank doc.
Right. This might be reference if you're watching it. Like, what are they talking about? It might be reference to our colleges. That's what we're talking about. But
And
yeah.
again, let's add our custom block back in. So just typing that at symbol and then KWL.
Ah, there it is. Oh wow,
Nice.
it's
And there's our updated version.
green.
Yeah,
Love it.
cool beans.
Okay, I'm going to throw another one at you, Courtney.
Okay, hopefully I have the answer for that one. Let's go.
Okay, I'm done with the building block. I never want to use it again and I want to remove it from my list so I don't see it in my list anymore. Can I can
Got
I do that?
Gotcha. And I looked around for this one because at first I was like, well, oh, let me go to the pencil. That's not where it is. But again, like I said, these are essentially Google Doc files that are created for you just to quickly pull from. And again, Google is always looking out for us. So once you have made at least one custom block, the next time you pop into your drive, guess what you're going to find over there? A new folder that has been automatically created called custom building blocks. So all of those files will just live there. This is another way that you can go in and quickly edit if you needed to. Just go into that folder and open up this sort of like master file. But this is like your master copy. This is the one, if you've been teaching for a while, you had that file cabinet with all those copies in the drawer. But just go in just like any other doc, and then you can go ahead and move to trash, and that will take it out of your Google Drive, and then we'll also take it out of your list.
Nice.
next time you go to
And
Google Docs.
we did have a question come up a couple of times, and that question is, can you share custom building blocks? And I'm gonna guess yes, since it's a file, you probably just need to share the file like you would any other file and put it in that building blocks folder.
That's what I would think, and I don't know if I would have to take an extra step. So, for example, Chantel created this one. She can definitely share this doc with me. I can put it over into my folder, but I still might have to at least one time go ahead and do the process of selecting the table and then saving it as a custom building block in my account.
Yeah,
But
that's what
again,
I'm
that
and
makes
that's
thinking
perfect
too.
sense.
it's a good
Yeah.
question. And then Chantel, if before we scooch on, if you pop back over on the slide, because we also did have the question of custom building blocks, and these are available for Education Plus accounts. So, so again, if you have access to the slides, remember the link is right there in the top right corner. But then on this slide, it kind of walks you through how you create those, and then again, it lets you know which tiers it's available for.
Yeah.
Nice. Love those. I'm going to be creating lots of custom building blocks later today. And our last little piece is some different ways we can use Google Meet other than traditional meetings or virtual learning. So let's take a look at some of those different ways we can use Google Meet. One of those is we can invite guest speakers into our classroom using Google Meet so you can have your students connect with experts from around the world. And remember, with the live translated captions, those speakers can be speaking in their native language, and then it's going to automatically translate for you in Google Meet, which is great. And then you can also use the recording feature to record those guest speakers so that you can utilize them in the future repeatedly. This next way is probably my favorite, which I really wish I had when I was a classroom teacher, and that's Meet the Guardians. So you can help parents and guardians take less time off of work because they can jump into a Google Meet from their job, hopefully, from their phone, from a computer, and meet with you. And for me, I used to have to wait on a friend down the hallway who spoke Spanish when I needed a Spanish speaker for some of my guardians. So, again, with those live translations, it's going to allow you to be able to communicate with those parents and guardians at home. And those guardians can also communicate with you in their native language. So, it makes it really nice. Our third option is a Socratic seminar, which is a common activity in many classrooms. But, ladies, what is a common problem with those Socratic seminars?
Well, so for Socratic seminars, basically, they're usually a whole class experience. So it centers around like this structured kind of conversation. So the students are able to ask these open ended questions, listen to each other, share their thoughts, make meaning. For me, a lot of times it's, revolved around like a text that we might have been reading in class. But again, whole group. And so you would have like that inner circle of students who were doing the talking and sharing and questioning and things like that. In the outer circle, they're sitting and they're watching and observing, taking their notes. And again, so it takes like most of the class period. If you
Right.
secondary level, so class period, right?
Yeah, it does take a lot of time. You're right. You're right. I mean, I love it. I love how like they dive into it and they're really critically, thinking about what we're diving into and the topic and the content, but it does take time.
So let's save us some time by using Google Meet for those Socratic seminars. You can double your impact by having students record those inner circle discussions using Google Meet, and then you could post those recordings to your Google Classroom. Students can then engage with those inner circle discussions in the question format in Google Classroom using that turn that threaded option on so students can reply to each other. And then by doing this, you can have multiple inner circles happening across your classroom all at the same time. And then they can switch off and on between them. This next one's my favorite. It's for podcasting, and I love podcasting. So, the noise cancellation feature in the Education Plus customers that receive that, this is a great option for small groups to be able to do podcasting, book talks, author discussions without needing to leave the room. So, you don't need to have students leave the room to cut down on all that background noise. The noise cancellation will do that for you. So, no special setups, no more podcasting boxes. That's what we used to have in the classroom. You can do all of that through Google Meet and then again post those into Google Classroom. Then the last one, no more field trips for your students. Well, not no more. Let's just say less field trips, less soggy sandwiches on a school bus. You can do virtual field trips instead now.
Soggy sandwiches? Yeah, those are the
Mhm.
worst. But are you telling me I don't have to tell everybody to buddy up? I don't have to lose any kids, on the field
Nope.
trip, right? It's all safe within the classroom. I love that.
All safe in the room. You can host those virtual field trips. Again, live translations, great option. And we've got a link in this slide to learn more at the bottom if you want to learn more ways to use Google Meet.
Oh, I love
And
that.
that's it. That's a wrap.
Okay, hang on. Before we wrap it up, this is perfect with our last minute. We had a question about
Perfect.
finding the deck.
Oh, okay.
So we'll hopefully somebody can drop the link in the chat for you there. But in the top right hand corner, if you're looking at the screen, and here they
There we
popped it up for
go.
you
There's that
again,
banner.
fry.tech/10-24-23 will get you there. And then we had a great question, and I love to share this too. I'm not the district tech person. How do I know if my district is an Education Plus district? One of our quick tips is open a Google document, open the file menu, and look to see where you see things like share. And I had to go and look at it, share and download. Look for approvals. If you see approvals,
Nice.
then you have Education Plus. That's one. There's another one in Google Meet. I think it's noise cancellation in
Yeah,
Google
noise
Meet.
cancellation is just Education
So
Plus.
if you open a Google Meet and just go into your settings, and if you have the noise cancellation, that's a quick way to check it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Perfect. So be sure to join us next week for Spooky or Genius,
Oh,
demystifying workspace AI features, calendar, Gmail, and more because it's Halloween. So we got
yeah.
to be spooky, right?
I
And then
figured with that name.
if you haven't already registered, use that link in the upper right hand corner to register. And don't forget to follow Fried Tech on all of your favorite social media.
Yes.
See you next week.